Episode 3, Shattered Reflections. Previously on the cracked plate, Mia made the difficult decision to leave, telling Jimmy she needed space to figure out if their relationship was worth saving. Left behind, Jimmy was forced to confront the reality of her words. She felt alone in their relationship, carrying all the emotional weight. As Mia started her journey of self-discovery, Jimmy grappled with the fear that he might lose her for good. Jimmy sat on the edge of their bed, the silence of the apartment pressing down on him like a weight. Her scent lingered faintly on the pillow beside him, a painful reminder of her absence. His hand rested on his phone, her last text still glowing on the screen. "I'll call when I'm ready." He wanted to reply, to beg her to come home, but a nagging voice in his head stopped him. Would it even make a difference? Jimmy stood and walked to the bathroom. He flicked on the light, and his reflection stared back at him. His unshaven face and hollow eyes reflected not just exhaustion, but the growing cracks within himself. He looked at his reflection like a stranger, someone he couldn't quite understand. "What's wrong with me?" he muttered. Across town, Mia sat in her sister's small guest room, surrounded by unpacked clothes and a half-empty coffee cup. She had been gone for 2 days, and the hollow ache in her chest hadn't faded. She clutched her phone, scrolling through photos of happier times with Jimmy, laughing at the beach, decorating their first apartment, dancing in the living room to no music at all. Her thumb hovered over his contact, but she pulled back. What would I even say? That I miss him? That I'm angry? Mia exhaled deeply, shaking her head. "I left to figure things out," she whispered to herself. "I can't run back now, just because it hurts." But the question gnawed at her. Did I make the right choice? Jimmy found himself in a small cafe later that day, staring blankly at the menu. Grace, Mia's best friend, had texted him that morning. "We need to talk. Meet me at Java's at noon." He had almost ignored it, but curiosity and guilt got the better of him. When Grace walked in, her usual bright smile was gone. She slid into the seat across from him, setting her purse down with purpose. "Thanks for coming," she said. Her tone clipped. Jimmy shifted uncomfortably. "What's this about, Grace?" "It's about Mia," she said plainly. "And you." Jimmy bristled. "Look, if you're here to tell me how terrible I am, I've already got that covered." Grace leaned forward, her voice firm but not unkind. "Jimmy, I'm not here to tear you down. I'm here because Mia deserves better, and so do you. But nothing's going to change unless you start looking at yourself and asking why." Jimmy frowned. "Why what? Why you shut down when she needs you? Why you get defensive instead of listening? Why you're so scared to let her in?" Her words hit like a punch to the gut. "You think I'm scared," he scoffed. "I know you are," Grace replied. "And if you don't figure out what's behind that, you're going to lose her, Jimmy. For good." Jimmy stared at the table, his jaw tight. The truth of her words gnawed at him, even as he wanted to push them away. Grace sighed, softening her tone. "Mia loves you, but she's exhausted. And honestly, Jimmy, I think you're exhausted too. Stop running from the things you're afraid to face. Do the work. If not for her, then for yourself." She stood, slinging her purse over her shoulder. "You don't have to have all the answers today, but you need to start asking the questions." With that, she walked out, leaving Jimmy alone with his thoughts. Back at home, Jimmy sat on the couch, Grace's words replaying in his mind. He opened his laptop and typed emotional self-awareness into the search bar. His eyes scanned the results, landing on a workshop titled Understanding Your Emotional Menu, Unpacking Triggers, Needs, and Fears. Jimmy hesitated, his finger hovering over the registration button. A voice in his head whispered, "This is stupid. It won't change anything." But then he saw Mia's face in his mind, her tired eyes, her quiet strength, her words. "I need time to figure out if this is worth saving." He clicked register before he could change his mind. As Jimmy takes his first steps toward self-awareness, Mia continues to wrestle with her own fears and frustrations. Will Jimmy's efforts come too late, or will his willingness to change help them both find a way back to each other? Tune in to The Cracked Plate, Episode 4, Pieces in the Mirror.